Welcome to my very first video tutorial ever. I want to give you some basic tips about armor painting, including battle damage and weathering. Yeah! I'll show you all of this on my shield for my Warrior of Light cosplay from Final Fantasy. You will find the links to all the products I'll use in the description box. Alright, let's get started. So today I'm going to work with some special colors. I will use the Dino acrylics from PBO. Those acrylics have a really fancy color shift in it. But those Dino acrylics need a special preparation. First of all, I start with a neutral base color. Black for dark colors, white for bright colors. You should always do this no matter with what kind of colors you work. To support the color shift of the Dino acrylics, I paint the parts that are going to be blue, first in a second layer of base color over the black. I'll use a mixture of purple, blue and dark blue. After that is done, I start with the real color application. I mix the Dino color with some other PBO acrylics to make the color shift even stronger. I mix purple, black and dark blue in it. Yeah, look at that! I apply the Dino acrylics only in a very thin layer so that the colors that are underneath shine through it. You may wonder why I put tape around the bristles of my brush. The shorter the bristles of a brush are, the easier it is to control, so I like to shorten my brushes that way without cutting them. Before the paint is dried completely, I go over it with a big soft brush to remove all the weird brush strokes from before, which tend to go in many different directions. Next, I'll paint the silver details using patinating wax from PBO. I'll use a brush with stiff bristles so that I can apply the wax easier. For the golden details, I use PBO's gilding wax. These waxes are super fertile, you only need a little color for a whole costume. Same as for the patinating wax, a stiff brush is much easier to use here. Most of the stuff I know about painting, I learned from Bob Ross. This man taught me a lot about life and love, but mostly about art. So he once said, you need shadows in order to create light. Now this might also sound like a quote from an awesome movie or something. Sounds a lot like Uncle Iroh actually. But in fact, it just describes how to use dark colors to create highlights and dimension. And that's what we do now. I mix black acrylic paint with water to make the color less pigmented. With that mixture, I will brush around the edges of my details. You can either use another dry brush or your fingers to blend the color in. If you don't need any battle damage on your armor, you can stop right here. Congrats, you're finished. If not, you should keep going. For my battle damage effect, I will go over the scratches with black acrylics again. To create highlights, I use a pen from Posca. Those pens are known as the Draw Onto Everything pens, so basically that's exactly what they do. Many cosplayers like to use white paint to create highlights. Personally, I think this gives a quite cartoony look to an armor. It's nice if you want that, but I don't like that effect. Instead, I use a Posca pen in silver to go over the edges of my scratches. Dropping some real rhymes here, yo! When it comes to weathering an armor, I may have found my best friend for life. An ordinary kitchen sponge. Yes, I love to create weathering effects with this little body, and I'll show you how. I'll dip the end of the sponge into black acrylics. It's important to not use too much color, so make sure to wipe off most of the paint before going onto your armor. I'll just go over all of the edges of my shield and the details, basically everything that pops up a little from the surface. To finish the look, I'll use a toothbrush and some brown paint that I again mixed with water. I'll just let the paint splatter over my shield to create random patterns. Those splatters may be dried blood, dirt, or other substances that we don't want to talk about. And boom! That's it! You painted your armor completely. Nice job, mate! I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you like my cosplays, why don't you leave a like to this video or even follow my channel. So stay tuned until next time. Bye bye!